Good morning everybody, and welcome to our live virtual open morning. So it's a beautiful morning here at the NHC today. So we did a previous open morning in April. So we were going around when there was learners here. So you might want to have a look back at that video, because that's really good to see kind of a typical morning for the learners at the NHC. I have posted that on our Facebook page, the link to YouTube, so that's definitely worth a visit on there. So this morning all I'll be doing is just showing you a bit around the facilities, what's included in our 12-week foundation course, and just any questions that anyone wants to ask. We're here to answer them. So the 12-week residential foundation course is available for anyone 16 plus. You don't need any equine experience or academic qualifications in order to apply for that course. It's a residential course, so everybody will live at the college during the 12 weeks. It's designed to get you ready for working in the horse racing industry. So as you can see over here, some of the horses are enjoying a break out in the field. So we haven't got any learners here at the moment due to the COVID-19 issues. So hopefully they'll be back soon, but it just means that the team can work hard here with our facilities, and the horses get a bit of a break in the sunshine, which is nice. So like I said, if anyone wants to ask any questions at all, just comment on the video, and I'll answer them live, or you can message us on Facebook privately after the event, and we'll get back to you as well. So these are the paddocks over here that a lot of the horses are turned out into. I'll just show you over here, which is one of our outdoor arenas. So the learners, when they arrive, they'll always start usually in the indoor arena. They'll be assessed by one of our training instructors, and from there they'll determine kind of how the balance is, how the position is, because we have a lot of people that will come here not having touched a horse before, and others that have got a bit of riding experience. So that's the outdoor arena there. So the indoor arena is used a bit more than the outdoor arena. It's a good safe place when you're learning to ride. You've got the four walls, keep you safe. So the building in front there, that is the main reception. There's also the canteen in there, and there's the accommodation block at the back. I can show you what the accommodation looks like. So on our last virtual tour we didn't manage to get in the accommodation because there was learners here, and obviously due to social distancing regulations, we keep as far away from the learners as we could, just to be safe. So in here is the accommodation block just there, and there's the canteen in there, so we can have a look at that in a bit. And there's also on the floor, there's little bricks of different horse names and family names when we open this part of the college, which is a nice tribute on there. So in here, this is the entrance to where the learners would all wash their boots, wash their hands before, well, as soon as they've ridden, as soon as they've been on the yards. And they all have their own lockers as well. lockers down there. And if we go through here, so this is the start of the accommodation block. There's a bit of an exercise bike there, which always comes quite popular to the learners. So as we head up here, on camera, so the learners, we make sure that the privacy is always kept. So the girls land in here. Girls are always on the first floor, and the boys are up there on the second floor. So if either are found on each other's landings, then they're in big trouble. So it's best that you stay on your own landing. So you'll see on here, we have 2 room checks a day. So one at 7 in the morning and one at 6 at night. So they make sure that they keep their rooms nice and clean. And on Friday it's always also a deep clean night. So there is a prize at the end of the course for the person that keeps their room the cleanest. So that's always a good prize to have. That's on that. And here's just a board of information for the learners. So if they need any advice, or there's any phone numbers there if they wish to use them. Now I'll show you the accommodation. So they're all shared bathroom and showers. So at the minute, obviously, there's no learners, so everywhere's had a deep clean, ready for our new learners to arrive. So this is York Racecourse room. So this is just an example of what our rooms are like. So this one is a double room. So obviously they look very bare without any of the learners' belongings in here. So that's pretty much what they are. So they all got their own little area, and there's area there where you can hang the clothes. And this one's got a room with a view, which is always nice. So out there you can see the yard. So as soon as you wake up every morning, that's always a nice view. So if we head out here, you can see there's plenty of rooms on here. So here's an example of another double room. So we can hang their belongings. So once they get all their own gear in here, it's much homelier for them. They can really make it their own. So as you can see out there, good view and a beautiful day today. Right then. So the question from Summer, how many learners roughly per course? So we have new learners arrive every 6 weeks, and we normally have around 20-21 on each course. And we have 2 groups of learners at a time, so we're talking around 40 at a time, the amount of learners that's here. And everything's secure as well, so all these doors are locked, so nobody can get in. Right then, I can show you now in our tack room. So a question from Phoebe, what are the start dates? If you go over to our website, they will show all the start dates on there. Obviously with the COVID-19 problem at the minute, things are a bit unsettled, but if you've applied for your course, you will be notified by our team with any updates that we receive. So in here, this is where all the saddle pads and that live for the horses, and a learner will get get a job so one learner will be designated a job to clean all of them. So after they've ridden every time, it's their duty to make sure they're nice and clean. So they're all clean and ready for next time. Especially in the summer when they get a bit sweaty, there's plenty of washing happening. So in here, this is where all the tack obviously lives. So a question from Mason, how would I go about getting my hat and body protector? We do have an online shop here, and we sell all the gear that you need for your foundation course. We do lend body protectors for the duration of the course, so for the 12 weeks, but then if you were to go on work placement after, you would need to buy your own body protector, because obviously we can't send you out in the workplace with one of ours. So if you head over to our website, we've got a shop on there, and it will show you the standard that we need, because there is a specific standard that you need for racing. So here, obviously, all the tack. All the horses have their own tack. So we've got Tommy there. Might recognise some names around. So you may not be familiar with a racing saddle, so we'll just show you what they're like. So some people that arrive prior to the course have maybe ridden in a GP saddle. That's the kind of conventional way of riding. But you'll see a racing saddle is slightly different. It's a lot bendier as such. It's a lot more snug to the horse, and it's this pad up here so you can ride more freely when you're riding the horses. And we do have these safety stirrups as well. So if the learners happen to have a problem or anything, the safety stirrups will make sure their foot comes out the stirrup. That's what they're designed for. So yeah, that's the typical racing saddle that we use. And the bridles all vary depending on the horse, different bits, pretty much standard bridle, and a breastplate on there at the bottom just to stop the saddle from slipping back on there. So we also have a few displays at the top, so for learning purposes. So there's a roller up there and a paddock sheet that the learners will use when they do a best turned out here, and there's also different things that they'll learn as they go along. So different types of bits, different types of nose bands, and things like that, and some very old colours up there. And also when there's racing on, so Royal Ascot, Cheltenham, Grand National Entry, things like that, we'll always put the TV on for the learners to see that. It's always a good thrill. And every morning as well, we take a register. So all the learners will line up in here at 6:30 when they start, and they'll take the register, even though most of them are half asleep. But the mucking out soon gets them awake. So in here as well, there's also the instructor's office. So if any of the learners have got any problems or they want to have a chat with one of the instructors, then they just go in there and have a private conversation with them if they wish. So Victoria's said on here, fresh Mondays were the best. So on a Sunday, the horses aren't ridden. So they're ridden Monday to Saturday, and they all have a day off on a Sunday. So that means on Monday they might be a little bit fresh. So you've just got to keep your wits about you and The fresher ones you just have to hold on a little bit tighter, but it's great as it teaches you to really hold on to them, and it's really good for your technique and your balance as well. So there's a question from Katie, what's the normal daily routine? So in a bit we're going to catch up with Victoria, who's one of our training instructors, and she will just explain what a typical day for the learners is here. So waking up time, and then at the end of the day. It is very long days, but we replicate what it's like in a racing yard. So we're going to head down now and we'll have a look at the gallops in the indoor arena. Obviously there's no learners here at the minute, so there's no action on the gallops, but just get a feel for what it's like. Question, do we still have spaces for August and September? You need to contact us. If you apply online, then we'll get in contact with you and discuss what the best course is for you. We are typically very full in the summer, so August we are full, I believe. But if you contact us, apply and contact us, then we can let you know what spaces are available, and we do have waiting lists as well. There's a few questions about the COVID issues and when we're having learners back and things like that. You'd have to private messages with that because we're unsure. It depends on your course, and we're going by government advice at the moment. So if you've applied for a course and you've got a place on a course, the best thing to do is either contact us or we will contact you as soon as we hear any information about that course. So someone's asked a question about the different horses and which horses we ride. So you'll all ride different horses. So all the horses are graded. So they start very quiet, both ridden and in the stables. And then we have our ones that are a little bit more trickier to handle, both in the stable and on the gallops and in the indoor. So everyone will start out on the quieter ones until they're assessed, and they will gradually build up to the other horses that are that little bit more trickier once they're confident enough to, and once our training instructors feel that you're confident to move up. So is there an age limit for the courses? So no, there's no age limit. So the course is open for anyone aged 16 and above. Obviously if you need to be able to work with horses, be fit to work with horses either from the ground or riding them. We do have a riding option and a non-riding option. So on every course we do have a few learners that do take the non-riding option. If they want to work maybe as a stud groom, a racing groom. A lot of our learners will travel around the world, Dubai, Australia, with racing yards. So here's a few of them just enjoying the sunshine. A question from Derek, are you able to accept students from South Africa? Yes, we do take students from all over the world. Best thing to do is to drop us an email if you want some more info about that. It's info@thenhc.co.uk, and we can send you all the relevant information that you need. So a question from Katie, is it 7 days a week course? So it's a 12-week course, so obviously you're here learning every day. Apart from every other weekend, you'll get the weekend off. So that consists of from lunchtime on a Saturday until Sunday evening. So once you've done the mucking out and your duties on a Saturday morning, you can then go home for the day, and also for Sunday, and as long as you're back by a certain time on Sunday evening, which I believe is about 8 p.m, that consists of your weekend off. So if you happen to live quite far away, so over 200 miles away, then you can conjoin your weekends off, because by the time you get home, it's time to leave again. So you can conjoin them if you do live far away. But what we'd do with that is just speak to our training instructors when you arrive, and they'll sort that out for you and figure out the best plan for you. Question, is there car parking available for learners? Yeah, we do have a car park here. There's no charge for it. Obviously we do have some mature learners that come here that can drive, but you're not allowed off-site still, just as anyone wouldn't be able to. So everybody has to stay on site. So now we'll head over to the gallops. So it's a nice long walk to the gallops. It really warms the horses up when you're walking down. So every morning the learners will ride in the indoor arena. So they'll ride one lot in the indoor arena, and they'll ride maybe one or two on the gallops. So they'll generally ride around three a day. They'll vary as well. So we try and get people riding different horses, because when you go into the workplace, you will be asked to ride a big variety of horses. Although they do take care of their own specific horses quite often in a yard, you will have to ride different horses. Some might be trickier than others, so if you've had the preparation here that you need, then it'll be a lot easier for you to manage them horses as well. So a question from Mason, what happens when you save your free time up? Can you go home? So it's only when you live far away would you be able to kind of conjoin your weekends off to make a longer weekend. So if people live close by, they wouldn't be able to do that. It would just be the standard every other weekend off. So just get into the gallops now. There's a few of our training instructors there, feeding and sorting the horses out today. So it's a woodchip gallop, it's just short of a mile, it's 7 furlongs around. So you can't quite see the far side of it, but it's a long way around. So it's far enough around when it's your first few times on the gallops. Your legs might burn a bit, just trying to get used to the position. And I'll just show you over here, there's a few things that we use for our jockey courses. So we have all the jockey courses here. So if you're looking to be a jockey, the first step would be to do the foundation course, to complete that, and from there you will then be put on work placement. So we help you to find a job in the racing industry. So we will speak to a lot of trainers that we have good connections with, and we'll make sure we place you in the right yard. And from there you'll then start your level 2 apprenticeship qualification, and whilst you're doing that, or when you've completed it, you can then apply for your jockey licence. So these are the stalls that if you wanted to be a flat jockey, so an apprentice jockey, you'd practice going through these stalls. So all of our horses here, they used to be race horses, so they're all very much switched on when it comes to racing. So we have a mixture of both flat and jump horses. Some of them love to jump, so we have our fences over there. Some of them love to jump, some of them love to jump out the stalls. They're all different characters. So as you can see, they're all enjoying some sunshine today. So, question from Phoebe, what's the quickest time you can do your level 2, your level 1, 2 and then qualify as a jockey? So, if you want to do a jockey course, you'd have to successfully complete the level 1 qualification, so that's the foundation course. You'd have to complete a 6-week work placement with a racehorse trainer. Like I said, we work with you and the trainer to find you a suitable workplace. And then you'd have to sign up to your level 2 apprenticeship qualification, so that's still with us. You'd complete that in the workplace, so that takes around a year to complete. So you either complete that or be working towards completion. Then you can talk to the racehorse trainer, so your employer. You speak to them about your jockey licence, and then they will put you forward to us to apply for your licence. So if your employer feels that you're good enough to become a jockey, whether that's jump or flat, then they will contact us and we will go about putting you on your jockey course. So realistically, you'd like to take a couple of years before you'd take your jockey licence out, or be granted a licence. Question from Abigail, how old must you be? So it's for anyone 16 plus, so as soon as you turn 16 you can come and train here. So question from Mason, do you have specific dress wear for riding? So you have to wear breeches or dark coloured jumpers. We provide you with a t-shirt and a jumper and a coat to wear for the duration of your course. You also need to wear either long riding boots or jodhpur boots and chaps. All of this equipment that we do sell in our shop, and we can also advise you of the best equipment for you as well. And then, like I said before, the body protector, we do lend them to all learners for the full 12 weeks because they are a specific standard, so it can't just be any body protector. And the same with the hats as well, so it has to be a certain standard of hat. We do have a learner guide as well that I'm happy to share on the event page once we've finished this video, so I'll pop that on there, and it includes all the information that you'll need for your course, so it gives you a list of all the equipment that is required before you start. So we'll just head over to the indoor arena so you can have a look at that. So Frankie, a question from you. When you're on the course you have to do the jumping. So the jumps and the stalls are only for the jockey courses, so during the foundation course you don't use the fences or the stalls at all. They are only for the jockey courses. So, question from Mason, any specific colour? So, any dark colours, jumpers, navy or black, they're the best colours to go for. So this is the indoor arena, so every morning they ride a lot in here, so they'll work on their balance, their position and their technique as well. So it's a nice big area for the learners to ride in. It's also nice and secure as well, so if anyone's feeling a little less confident on the gallops maybe, they'll come back in here and just gain their confidence back and then head out again. So a question from Robin, so you're from Wales, so that's absolutely fine. What we'd do is if you're quite a long way away in terms of miles, it's around 200-250 miles away, then we would be able to conjoin your weekends off, so you'd have kind of a long weekend. So question here, if I wanted to be a riding groom, would I take the foundation course? So yes, definitely. So even those that may have a bit of experience with horses or even race horses, the foundation course is the best level to go for. It just gives you that the basics of everything that you need to know, and it is a recognised qualification, so most racehorse trainers will not actually employ anybody unless they have that qualification either. So it's the best qualification for you. Question from David, is there an upper age limit? No upper age limit at all. As long as you're fit and able to work with racehorses, then that's all we ask for. Question from Chloe, can I do the course again after leaving racing 2 years ago? Yes, if you contact us via info@thenhc.co.uk, we'll be able to put you in the right direction of who you need to contact to redo your course. That's absolutely fine. Question from Abigail, how long do you ride the horses? So it just depends whether they're in the indoor or the gallops. So on the gallops they're ridden 2 laps in trot and then 1 lap in canter, so it's just short of a mile all the way around. So you're talking just over 2.5 miles in total around there. The indoor arena you might have maybe an hour's lesson in a group, so we work on your fitness as well whilst you're riding, because it is tough riding 3 horses a day if you're not used to it. Your fitness levels do have to be quite good. So question here, do you get to jump the horse at all if you don't want to be a jockey? No, we don't typically jump the horses on the foundation course. It's not generally necessary to. When you go into the workplace and work for a racehorse trainer, you might learn to there, but we don't typically teach the learners to here. A question from Robin, if I had any questions, is anyone I could contact to talk? Yeah, of course, if you wanted to give us a call on our main number, then we're happy to just chat to you about whatever information that you need, or any queries that you might have. That's absolutely fine. So now we'll head back down. We'll go to meet a few of the instructors, a few of the horses, and we'll be able to have a look around the yards as well. And later on we'll have a demonstration on the racing simulators from Lee. So Lee's one of our yard supervisors. He used to be a flat jockey as well, so he'll be able to show us the perfect position on the racing simulators, and explain why fitness is so important as well. So a question, is the accommodation provided? So yes, the accommodation block that we went into earlier, that's all provided, so for the full 12 weeks. So we do have double rooms and we do have single rooms as well. A lot of people will prefer to have a single, so you can request that, but we can't guarantee it. A lot of young people as well, they like to have a shared room. It's a bit of company as well. So, question from Mason: when I come, could I go into town? We don't particularly like learners going off site unless it's for a specific reason, and generally would have a member of staff with them if they had to. But again, this is something that you could discuss once you've applied, and if you wanted to speak to a member of our team about that. Question from Summer: do you have any free time during the day? So yes, you have a lunch break, a break in the morning for your breakfast. That's about half an hour, about 9, half 9. You get your lunch as well, so that's for an hour, and then you get your free time after 8 o'clock as well. So we'll here now meeting some of the horses. So we've got Rebecca and Victoria.
Good morning.
So who have we got here?
This is Darwitzer. This is Damien. Both by Darwin. We used to have Darwin here many years ago when I was here. So both by the same Darwin.
Oh, okay. So he was born here, wasn't he? David, yeah. Okay. 6 of the 606. Where he gets his name from. So why are these two kind of good for the learners? What kind of grade would they be, and when ridden and in the stables?
Darwitzer is mainly ridden on the gallops. He's not very good in school. He's probably more of one of the challenging ones. He does like typical a bit. It's good for the learners in a way that the more that they pull, they are the real pull. It's a bit of a train. He's still got it at his age of 17. Like but he's safer now, so they never ever go flat out all the way around. He never ever throws them off. He's really safe. But I suppose he does train the learners how to maintain the quality foot.
And Damien.
Damien, he's very good for our learners when they go first time out on the gallop. Look after them. So good one starting off.
Lizzie, what's he like in the stable?
In the stable, he's a little bit quirky. As good as he is once you're up on his back, he's quite a character in the stable. So he's just got his own rules and his own system. So it can be a little bit groggy at times. He's not a morning boy, but yeah, he's brilliant. He comes into his own out on the gallop. It's really useful.
It's good for learners though to have different horses, isn't it? And they get used to different types and
Right,
yeah, definitely.
He's quite a character, so yeah, it's good to teach them to be mindful of where they're positioned and stuff, and to make sure they're in control.
Ah, perfect. Thank you. Right then, now we'll head over to have a look at a few more of the facilities. So a few more questions come through from Katie. Are we allowed visitors? So if you let us know if you do want family and friends to come on site, then we will welcome them, as long as we're aware of it, and as long as it fits into the schedule. Okay, then yes, that's fine. So a question from Abigail: do you give us food? Yes, we do. So we provide all the food that you need, 3 meals a day, good home cooked food as well, very nutritious. So that's all provided for you whilst you're here. Is a question from David: is there a riding assessment before you join the course? So it's when the course begins, there is a riding assessment.
needs to be there. So you're assessed on the second day that you arrive. So the training instructors will assess everybody in the indoor arena. Thank you. So they'll assess everyone in the indoor arena just to figure out how the balance is, how the position is, and things like that. And that's on the second day. So, question, how much is the foundation course? So, the cost is £350 for the course. There's also a £50 refundable room deposit as well. We do have bursaries available. So, for anyone with a household income less than 23,000, there is a bursary available. So, once you apply, if you just let us know, if you would like one of the forms, then we can do that, no problem. So in here, this is what's called the rec room. So this is where a lot of the learners spend their free time. So once the day's finished, so they'll come in here and just relax. We have the tuck shop there as well, which is always very popular. So in there we also sell necessities as well, kind of toiletries and things like that you may need. A question, how many stables do you muck out? So that'll depend how many learners are on the course at the time. So it could be 2, 3, or it may even be 4. But once you start, it'll increase as you go along, so we don't throw everything at you at the start. The question, do you have boys and girls there or only girls? We have both boys and girls here. Like I said, in the accommodation, we just split the accommodation, so different landings. But yeah, we have a mixture on the courses. So a question from Abigail about feeding the horses. So all the learners will feed the horses. So those that... so the course is split into 2. So it's a 12-week course, and as we have 2 different groups arrive after 6 weeks. So at the first 6 weeks, you will be classed as a junior, and then your final 6 weeks, you'll be classed as senior. So the seniors will always feed the horses every morning. So at 6:30 they'll feed, and when you're a junior, you don't feed, but you'll be on the yards for 7, ready to muck out. So everyone gets a chance to feed the horses. Like I say, that's at 6:30 every morning. Right then, so let's head down here. So in here is one of the lecture theatres. I think it may be locked at the moment. Be able to see in there. So what we do is a lot of the evening programmes are done in the classrooms and lecture theatres. And we also have a welfare officer as well, who is usually housed down here. So when the learners are on site, if they have any issues at all, or they need a bit of support or anything like that, we have the welfare officer on hand as well. So this is a canteen in here. This is where it'll have 3 meals a day. Obviously it's quite quiet at the minute because we don't have any learners in. Everything's getting a deep clean as well. So in here is where the food's normally prepared for the learners on there. We did a post on our Facebook page a week or so ago about the types of foods that we give the learners. So if you wanted to look back on there, you can see. So that's the canteen.
Right, and now we'll head over to the racing simulators with Lee. So Lee used to be a jockey, didn't you? So we're going to give us a fine demonstration of on the racing simulator. So this is the old yard in here. If there's any learners on here that were here a while ago, they might remember this yard. This is now housed with our deck horses, so the Doncaster Equine College horses live up there. So down here, so there's all the body protectors mentioned earlier, so that's what we lend you for the full 12 weeks. There's a few racing silks on there. So in here, this is where, well, I'll let you take over, Lee. What do we do in here then?
Bit of riffing really, regarding riding. As I know, I think these are beneficial for students. I mean, they're very good for the fitness. Good introduction for the riding as well. Mainly used for technique, taking the pull, balance. So yeah, they're good insight to moving forward the riding.
How often would they go on here then?
Obviously, the current situation, not a great deal at times, but on a normal week, I try and get them before break for a good half hour. Sunday is a good time, we'll get a bit more time then, and through the week, 9 times out of 10, it's fitted into a programme for them to have a bash on it for an hour or two. More afternoons, it's more of a fitness session. Get them low and, encourage them forward, make them have a blow and a sweat. But like I say, it's beneficial mainly for the technique and balance.
Right, perfect. Right, I'll let you give a demonstration. I'll move over here. So how long will they typically ride for as well then on here?
On this itself?
Yeah.
If we're doing fitness, I try and get them to do 2 minutes pulling, taking a pull, and 2 minutes pushing in a consistent turnover without a break. 9 times out of 10 two together.
Yeah.
A bit more competitive for them. Yeah. So, start at basics really.
Yep.
First couple of days they go on it, it's just a case of sharpening the reins. I mean, I understand it's probably a lot different to everybody else, or most people anyway. It's just a case of slide and across. I ride with a single bridge, which shows that's a bridge, but the students, when they first come anyway, they talk to a double bridge. So that's basically bridging both hands. You can even pressure down each rein. But like I say, a lot more experience than the other 24 year, so I ride with a single bridge.
Right.
Just easy if you shorten your reins and pull your stick through.
Yeah.
Which they can progress through. It's everybody's opinion on individual. So, we've got contact. I'm going to tell anyone. Contact. Once you've got them set off nice, that's what's all about a good set off. Once you've got them set off, happy days. Something don't fall wrong, that's why I like to follow.
Right.
Not technical for anything, trying to do an all county around about 20 miles per hour.
Yeah.
So once I say it's control on the galley, it's not just about that, it's just like that. Have a nice time there. Thanks for your hands closing, man.
Right. Perfect. So when you obviously we don't use a whip with the on the foundation course, it would just be jockey courses. So it's when you hit the pad on the back, then it beeps. So if you were doing a jockey course and you were training to get that positioning right of the whip, then that's where they come in, isn't it?
Yeah.
Perfect. So in terms of fitness then, we push for people to be as fit as they can before they arrive, kind of work on fitness. What would you advise? Obviously it's normally Matt that would deal with, that would work more on the fitness. So what would you advise people they're coming on the foundation course, what fitness to maybe start with if they haven't got any fitness already?
Don't want to work on upper body strength, leg strength, so some squats.
Yeah.
Some press-ups, plenty of jogging. I mean, you can see I'm going there, what, a minute?
Yeah.
And I'm going.
Yeah, and you do it plenty enough, so. Yeah.
I mean, fitter the better.
Yeah.
Fitter you are, more you can sustain it.
You're never too fit then, are you, really?
Not really. I mean, when you're learning to ride, obviously, we're a long way from race ride at this stage, but still, again, it's about maintaining it.
Yeah.
So to be able to maintain it, whether it's your balance, posture, positioning, technique, you've got to be fit.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So core strength and endurance as well. It's
plenty of jogging.
Yeah.
I mean, regarding riding for your legs and your shoulders and your arms, swimming's a good one.
Yeah.
But it's got to be consistent. It can't be a case of I'll go today and leave it 5 weeks.
Yeah.
It's got to be continuous.
Yeah. A lot of learners as well, they'll run whilst they're here, won't they? So they'll do a full day, and then they'll go around the gallops and run maybe 2 laps, just to keep up with fitness.
It's a busy schedule, and that's how racing industry is, as most people are aware.
Yeah.
It's constantly from first in the morning to late tea time. I mean, rather than keeping away from horses' welfare side of things, then you've got to take care of yourself as well. So it's constantly bang bang.
Yeah. So you've got to be fit for yourself, just to keep you going every day, really, haven't you?
Exactly.
Yeah. Perfect. Well, thank you very much for that. Appreciate that. I'll get a drink. Right, so that was the racing simulator room. So we can have 2 learners on at a time usually when they're here. So they'll practice on there. Lee also, in his spare time, will go and help learners as well during their breaks if they want a bit more tuition. He gives his time up to help them on there as well. So we're joined by Victoria now. So would you be able to give us an insight into kind of the typical day, so from morning to evening for the learners? So kind of when they wake up, what they do throughout the day to when they then go to bed.
Yeah, so it's quite an intensive course, so we try to cram a lot in, and we try to sort of simulate everything as near to the racing industry as we can.
Yeah.
So they're up bright and early first thing, usually about 6ish, and have tea and toast and get themselves ready for the day. And then they head down to the yard with the yard supervisors to feed all the horses breakfast, make sure they're all okay. Then they head back up to the tack room here to have registration, a bit of a briefing of the day with the instructors, and the morning ride list is given out, so that's usually great excitement. So then grab their tack and head down to the yard. Before they can tack up, we have mucking out, which is obviously one of the tasks that you do out in the industry. We have shavings and straw beds, and we tend to sort of try and up them so they're doing more beds towards the end of the 12-week course, so it's similar to what you expected out into the industry. So usually they muck out their beds and then they're tacking up and pulling out for 8 o'clock. First lot is usually in our indoor school, and here they can get a feel of the horses. It's in a safe environment, it's very controlled, and they can work on their technique, their position, under sort of guidance from the instructors. So that's first lot. They then head back, put the horses away, make sure they're all done up, and then they can have their breakfast, which is provided by our on-site chefs, so they can refuel, ready for second and third lot, which are out on the gallops. So
This is slightly different. They're sort of going a bit of a quicker pace. They've got to think about, you know, their distance. They've got to judge pace. They've got to act more independently. They all have wire headsets so they can speak to the instructors, and the instructors can give them constant feedback should it be deemed as, you know, a safety issue. But again, we try and give them as much support as we can, but throughout the 12 weeks try and wean them off that so they are thinking more proactively for themselves and reacting to what's happening themselves, because that's how it'll be out on the gallops. We'd all love an instructor in our area. It's not reality. So yeah, they can really work on their fitness and strength. They usually do a lap and a half of the gallop, a couple of circuits of trot first to warm the horses up. Then they bring them back, do all those up. For the non-riders on the course, there's still plenty to do. We have obviously horses out in the fields, there's paddock maintenance, lots of yard duties. We have veterinary treatments that they assist the yard supervisors with, holding for the farrier, and some of our horses do groundwork as well, so plenty to be done. They then head for lunch between 1 and 2 and head back out in the afternoon. Afternoons vary. We have, like, as I say, quite a tight time schedule. And we cram lots of stuff in. So it could be that we have people from the industry coming in and give talks. It could have practical demonstrations from the instructors or lectures from the instructors. Fitness is obviously very important, so we do a lot of that. We have the gym equipment, the simulator. We do rounders. That's always a favourite. It's quite competitive. So yeah, there's lots of things going on in the afternoon. And evening stables, again, is same as it is out in the industry. So the horses are brushed, hayed, watered, skipped out and fed for the night. So they're put away for about 5:30. So they then come in for their tea. The learners have their dinner. Some evenings they may have another lecture. It may be that they work on their portfolio work towards their level 1 apprenticeship, which includes functional skills, so they might have a tutor with that, with the English and maths. Or it may be some sort of life skills. They may do cooking with the chefs. And then their time is their own. So we've got a recreational room, tuck shop, which is a big favourite. And then usually things sort of wind down between 9:30, 10 o'clock. Everyone's usually fast asleep and ready to go again for the next day.
Perfect. So it's a full day for them, isn't it?
Yeah.
They're ready for the sleep by the end of it.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, thank you for that. Much appreciated. And now we'll wander up onto the classrooms. Thanks, Victoria. Right then, now we'll have a look at some of the classrooms. So we saw earlier the lecture theatre up near the rec room. We also have a few classrooms as well. So Victoria spoke a bit there about the evening programme. So we do what's called, it's mainly like life skills. So in the evenings we might have visitors from, say, Racing Welfare, who they help with anybody that work in the racing industry, that struggle with, say, mental health or physical health issues. They're a charity and organisation that will help support people as well. So it's always good to have them on board. We also do cooking as well, how to manage your money, how to live independently. So once they leave here, they feel confident and ready to go. So up here is one of the classrooms. So in here they'll do a lot of their portfolio work. In here. And there's a lot of notices up here as well. So a lot of motivation. That keeps them thinking as well. Just a fun place to be. And in here as well, there's a lot of books on the racing industry. So if someone wants to take a bit of time out just to learn a bit more about the racing industry or specific areas of the racing industry, they can come in here and have a look at these. another classroom in there that I think, yeah, that's locked at the moment, but there's another classroom in there that does the same thing as the other one, so where they'll have lectures and do their portfolio work as well. So there's a question from Claire, is accommodation and food provided for the 6-week placement? So your accommodation is provided for the 6 weeks. Your food generally isn't, so what you'll get is a weekly allowance that will cover things like your food and necessities during your work placement. So your accommodation is provided for that. Question, is it straw or shavings in the stables? We have a mixture depending on the horses. Some of them prefer one or the other, so we just accommodate each horse with that. Question from Emily, turns 18 in November, would you be able to go home? Would you have to stay on site? So regardless of age, we do ask for all learners to stay on site. It's just safer all round. Even if you can drive and you live local, it is better for everybody to stay on site. So, question from Frankie, would you come on the foundation course if you want to be a stable lass? So yes, definitely. The course is designed for those that want to work in the industry, so starting with the stable lads and lasses, and that's the most common route that people will go into in terms of the career after the college. So a question, been riding for some time, would they be given a harder horse to ride? Not necessarily. Like we said before, we assess you when you arrive, and depending on how our training instructors feel that you ride and how confident you are and how your position is and your balance, would depend on what horses you ride. You wouldn't automatically be put on more difficult horses, but it just depends on the individual, and all our horses are all very different as well, so it completely depends on the individual there. So a question from Alex, if you don't live far from the placement yard, do you still have to stay in the accommodation? No, not necessarily. That's something that you can discuss with our training instructors if you are placed on work placement with a racehorse trainer. So that's something you could discuss with them, and like I say, we like to work around you as much as the trainer, just so that everybody's happy. But yeah, that's something you discuss with the racehorse trainer. So as you can see out there, the instructors are just feeding the horses, just checking them all over, making sure they're all right. So it's a lovely setting round here. It's very quiet. We're not too far from Doncaster at all. 4 or 5 miles from the town. So and it's a very peaceful place. There's Rosington Hall just through there, and it is a very lovely, peaceful area. So what we'll do in a few moments is we'll head down to the yards. So the most common route from the foundation course, so once that's successfully completed, like we've talked about the work placement, so that's a 6-week process, and once the racehorse trainer is happy with your progress and your work that you've done for them, they will typically take you on full time, so you will then be in full-time employment with them, and from there you can then sign up to our level 2 apprenticeship. So that takes a year to complete in the workplace. You work with our roving tutors, so they'll be assessing you and helping you during the annual course. And once that's completed, successfully completed, your wages will then increase. So we work on like a level basis, so they will increase from your level 1 to your level 2, and you'll also gain a lot more knowledge from the industry as well. Is it open? Oh, if it's open, that's fine. Okay. Right, okay, thank you. Cheers. Right, we'll head down to the stables now, just making sure it was all unlocked. So most of our horses are currently living out at the moment. We have around 40-45 horses here on site. So there's plenty of mouths to feed. And like I said, they're all ex-race horses, so they've all had a job as a racehorse, known their job. Some more successful than others, but they're all a big part of the team here, and they all really help the learners along the way. So there's a question here about what are the height of horses. So they all vary. So we have a few that are just horses, so they're about 15 hands, and we have some that are a bit bigger, so 17 hands. So they all vary in build, size, and everything. So there's always a horse that will suit different learners. So someone's asked from Kieran, what sort of wage would you be looking at level 1 and 2? So the best thing for me to do is to upload the document to the event once we've finished. I'll put it in the event page, and then you can download the document and have a look at that list on there. That's probably easier way for us to follow that. So down here, these are the barns that we keep the horses in. Most of the horses are living out at the moment and having a break. So feed store in there. So yes, in here, so they're all on different, whether they're shavings or straw, they all vary. So it's very quiet in here today. Normally there's a lot of activity in here. There's different for the different horses. So this is Munch here, and they give you here the form of when they were racing. So outside every stable, it just shows all the horses and what they did during their racing career. That's on there. There's also a board on here for any information that the learners may need to know along the way. So during the course, designate barn managers. So these are tasked with making sure that all them different duties are done every day, and it's a good way for them to show what they can do as well. So there was 3 on here, so we was classed as the right hand barn, left hand barn and the mare and pony barn. So there may be a few in here. So yeah, we've got a few horses in still at the moment. So they're always happy to have visitors as well. So outside every stable as well, there's a grooming bag. So this is Munch, and we've got Axiom there as well. So yeah, the kit bags outside the stables. So inside them is all the grooming kit that they need for every single horse. So every horse has their own grooming kit as well, just to ensure hygiene and things like that. So this is where they're normally kept. And if you wanted to see what a video of, say, what they do on a typical day before riding, so tacking up and walking around the circle that you can see in front of us, if you go to that YouTube link that I posted on the Facebook page, you'll be able to see a typical morning for the learners whilst they're riding. Obviously at the minute, whilst there's no learners on site, it's difficult to imagine. But what they do is they circle around, so this circle in front of us, before they then head out onto the gallops or into the indoor arena. And you'll see there we have a walker as well, so the learners, they're all taught how to put horses on the walker safely. So every horse goes on there first thing in the morning, obviously taking each turn to go on there. So that's really good to have, because most yards that they go into will have a walker as well. So this is the mare and pony barn. All these horses are currently out at the moment. We have a few racing ponies here. So one of them is the favourite of the learners, called Charlie. He thinks he's a big horse, but he's not. He's and he goes on the gallops. He's a mean machine. He's a very good little pony, and he's good for our smaller learners as well, for them to get used to on the gallops. So a question by Abigail: how old are the horses? They all vary, so we can have some that are 5-6 years old, and we have others that are nearer on retirement, so kind of 17, 18. So they all vary. They all love the job they do here, and the moment they get a bit fed up with it, then they retire with their owners as well. So yeah, all of them absolutely love the job they do here. So a question from Sophie: are the instructors currently riding at the minute? We're trying to give all the horses a break, because it's good to give them a break, as they would do in a racing yard. Anyway, so all the horses will try and give a break. All horses differ, so some may need to continue to be ridden, but our instructors decide that depending on the horses. But for the moment, they're all having a bit of downtime. They will probably be ridden more once the learners are due back. So a couple of weeks leading up, they'll all be ridden to make sure they're all ready for the learners as well. So just showing a bit more of the site as well. So someone mentioned earlier about the car parking. So the car parks are just around here. We'll be able to leave your car. If you're a learner that drives as well, then you'd have to hand your keys in as well to our welfare officer, just so that we make sure everybody stays on site. So as everybody is on site as well for the 12 weeks, we do have a list of doctors, dentists, or a kind of list of full things that you need if you require them whilst you're here on the stay. So if you require an emergency appointment, then our student welfare officer will be able to get you appointments and things like that, they're all based in Doncaster as well. So if anyone has any more questions at all, just fire away. We'll be able to answer them for you. We've just about seen everything now, everything that we can show you whilst there's no learners on site. Obviously there's a lot of horses out at the moment, but like I said before, if you take a look back on the link that we've posted on Facebook, that takes you to YouTube, and there's a 2-hour video on there from when the learners were on site, so it might just give you that little bit more information about the course, and you can just see for yourself what it's like when the horses are ridden, when the learners are here. So a question, what happens if you're sick or ill? So like I said, we speak to the student welfare officer will always be there to help if you're not very well, and just take the necessary action that we need, whether you need an appointment or whether you just need a few days to kind of bring yourself back to being well again. That may be just a day off from full duties until you're better again. It completely depends on the individual. So yeah, we have a student welfare officer on site for anything like that, any problems that learners may have. So a question, do you have to pass maths to be on the foundation course? No, we don't have any, there's no academic qualifications required to do the course. We do have functional skills here, so if you don't have your GCSE level 4 or above in English and maths, you would be required to do the functional skills here. But so that will be completed before the 12 weeks. So during the afternoon programs that we have, if you're required to have them qualifications, then we will work with you then to complete them before you finish. A question from Alex about the showers in the room. So all our showers and toilets are communal, so the rooms don't have any ensuite with them. So they're all shared, but like we said, there's a girls' landing and there's a boys' landing. So boys can't go on the girls' landing and vice versa. But all the showers and toilet cubicles are shared. So a question from Phoebe, what grade GCSEs do you need? So be level 4 or above, so what used to be the grade C or above, that's what you'd need before you arrive. If you don't have them, it's not a problem at all. You can complete them with us, with our functional skills tutors. They're great at getting you through them, getting them grades. So this here is the visitor centre, so this is where our usual open mornings are held. So behind this centre is where the indoor arenas are that we went into earlier. Question by Mason, is it baths or showers? It's just showers here. That's all we have, just shared showers. So a question from David, if you already completed a degree, so if you've got a degree, you can still apply for the course. If you just put all your details like that in your application form, there's designated boxes where you can pop all that kind of information. And then we'll speak to you on the phone. Due to the current COVID situation, we'll speak on the phone. If not, it'll be a face-to-face interview where we'll just discuss different options for you. So if it was an equine degree, then it may help towards your qualification, but if not, you do the standard 12 weeks. So we also have Run for the Disabled located here as well, so that's where these guys are and a few of their horses. But here's some of our horses just enjoying some time out. So if anyone's got any more questions, please let us know in the next few minutes, as we're pretty much finished with the virtual open day now. We've seen most of the facilities that we have to offer. I admit they are empty at the moment, but it's good to show the accommodation block and things like that when there's no learners in there. So there's no more questions come through at the minute, so we will say goodbye for now. If anyone's got any questions at all, either comment in this video and we'll pick them up, or just send us a direct message and we'll be able to send some information over to you, whether it's regarding applications or just general information. You can apply online, it's very easy. Just head to our website, click on the apply button and send us a form off. All you have to do is fill it out with all your information, and it's a really simple process. Question from Emily, do you have to leave the site every other weekend or can you stay? You can stay if you choose to stay, that's absolutely fine with us. Just make our team aware when you're here that that's what you'd rather do, and that's absolutely fine. Right, so we will say goodbye for now, and like I said, any more questions, just let us know, and we'll let you know the answers, or direct messages, absolutely fine. Take care everyone and keep safe.